to Cakes by Amanda. I am Amanda, and since it's springtime, I want to do something really fun and really easy for you guys that don't really have a lot of time. So today we're going to do two things. We're going to learn how to make fondant flowers, and I'm going to share with you my super easy devil's food cake recipe. So we're going to combine the two and make kind of like a cute little flower cupcake with like dirt. Well, it's really cake, but it's going to be really super easy and you guys are going to love it. So should we get started? Spring is in the air, or in the kitchen. So these are the things that you're going to need. I'm going to start dry ingredients first, then go on to wet. You're going to need 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1.5 cups of granulated white sugar, half a cup of Dutch processed cocoa, 1/4 and a teaspoon of baking soda, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and you mix those all together. And then you add your 2 eggs, some vanilla, 2/3 of a cup of canola oil or vegetable oil, 1 cup of milk, and then mix it all together till it's just moistened. After you mix it, your batter should look like this. It should look exactly like a box cake, and you're going to want to put it in your prepared tin lined with cupcake liners. And I like to use an ice cream scoop to fill my cupcakes. I've already made some, so you're going to want to fill these halfway. They rise a lot. And this will probably make about 12 to 24 cupcakes depending on the size that you want to make. Maybe even more. Maybe about 30. And you can make even little mini cupcakes. And these are going to go into a preheated oven at 350 degrees for about 20 to 25 minutes. Just watch them. I like to go and open the oven every like 15 minutes just to make sure. So while the cupcakes are baking, we're going to make the frosting. So for the frosting, you're going to need half a stick of softened butter. Make sure you don't microwave it because there's always that chance that you'll over microwave it and it'll just get melted. Same cocoa that we used before, we're going to use again in the frosting. And I just kind of like to toss it in. I'll tell you maybe in about how much you're going to need. Depending on how chocolatey you like it. I like to add a little more or a little less. But I want it really chocolatey. So I'm going to do a lot of chocolate. So this is about a half a cup of chocolate. Or half a cup of cocoa powder. Yeah, it's about half a cup of cocoa powder. We're going to mix these together until it forms like a whipped chocolatey look. Don't start out fast. You'll have chocolate dust. See that it's going to be hard for it to mix together. Just because it's butter and cocoa and they're two dry things. So if you want, this is what I'm going to do right now. We're also going to need milk. And we're just going to add the milk in just to kind of loosen this up. I'd say about a teaspoon. A teaspoon and a half of milk. Or a tablespoon. And just mix it until you can loosen up that butter. So the butter's still not coming out. So if the butter doesn't come out when you add the milk, like it normally should. And if that happens, oh well. I love baking. Just shake it off. You're okay. You're not dying. Just got cocoa all over the house. just shake the butter off and then slowly mix it again. Add some milk as you're mixing it. Kind of loosen everything up so that you form kind of like a paste. I'll show you in a minute what it's supposed to look like. So until you get like this nasty little paste, we're going to also add some powdered sugar. I'd say maybe about 2 cups of powdered sugar. So we'll say that's 1 cup. 2 cups. So as this is mixing, add more milk until you get kind of like a frosting consistency. I'll show you what it's supposed to look like. Half of you guys that are watching this are probably like, she still has chocolate on her face. That's okay, I'm saving it for later. No. So just giving it a little mix on fast. Nice and fluffy. Scrape down the bowl again if it needs to be scraped down. In the start of this, I added about maybe 2 cups of powdered sugar, like I said. So I'm probably going to add about 1 more cup. So that's a total of 3 cups of powdered sugar. It's just depending on how sweet you like it. There's not really any. I don't like to go by measurements when I'm doing frosting because it's your personal preference. If you get frosting on the back, that's okay. Save it for later too. And slowly mix. And if it looks like it's a little dry, just add a tablespoon of milk at a time. It should look like this. And it should stay, it shouldn't be runny at all. And it should stay where you put your finger at. While the cupcakes are cooling, we're going to start making our fondant flowers. And to start out, I like to put down a piece of wax paper to keep the fondant from sticking. You're going to need some powdered sugar to also keep the fondant from sticking. You're going to need to purchase the Wilton Gum Paste flour set, and it'll come with a bunch of different flour cutouts, which we're not going to use all of them today. We're just going to use these ones today. We're going to use this little impression mold. These 2 flour cutouts, they're 2 different sizes. A little leaf cutout. You're going to need some hot pink disco dust. It's my personal preference that I want to put them on my flowers just to make them a little bit more sparkly and pretty. You're going to need some green luster dust. I'm using 2 different colors because I'm almost out of this one. You're going to need some pink luster dust. A little mini kind of rolling pin, and it has a pointed edge on it to help roll out the petals of the flowers to make them a little thinner and more realistic looking. A ball tool, which can also be found at Michael's. A paintbrush, which can also be found at Michael's. A rolling pin, which I purchased at Michael's. These are what we're going to be using for the middle of the flowers. I don't exactly know what they're called. I think they're called stamens or stamens, but they're at Michael's on the cake aisle. These little mats that will help make it easier to thin out your petals. They can also be found at Michael's, but you're not going to need to separately purchase these because it's going to come with the gum paste set. And you're going to need 2 balls of fondant, or however much fondant you want depending on how many flowers you're making. This one's pre-dyed yellow just because I'm going to make some pretty yellow springtime colored flowers. And this one's just white because I'm going to make the center of these ones pink. You can use whatever colors you want, whatever color luster dust you want. This is just what I'm using today. So we're going to start rolling out the flowers. I've already made one right here. He's drying. And roll it out till it's about 1/2 centimeter thick. And sometimes the flower doesn't come out of the little cutout, so I just take my ball tool and it pops right out. So we're going to take our mat And these flours are really super easy. You take your little bottle, and you just kind of work the excess fondant out so it kind of creates a thinner petal. And then you can, if you want, take this little mat. This has been through a lot, as you can see. And I like to take this bottle and just kind of place it in the center. And oh, it didn't work that time. There's some powdered sugar. If you need to, put some powdered sugar on the bottle. Kind of make it so the petals are coming in like a fresh bloomed flower kind of look. And take your paintbrush, and I've put a little bit of water in a little cup and just put a little dab of water in the middle. You don't need a lot, just a little bit. And take your little steamin' or stemmin' or whatever they like to call it. You have a little excess powdered sugar in the middle, that's okay. Just kind of pinch the end so it kind of closes it up and gives it a little bit more security so the steamer doesn't fall out. And then I just take a pair of scissors and just kind of cut this off. These are not edible. These steaming things are not edible, so if you're going to eat the flour, take it out. And just set them over there, and you just wait for them to dry, and they're a little cute couple. They're a cute little pair. This one's kind of already dried a little bit. See, they're not that intricate. They're really pretty simple. Anybody could do them. But we're going to wait for those to dry a little bit. This one's going to get some pink. This one's just, I think, going to stay yellow. So while we're waiting for those to dry, let's roll out some leaves. Take your little leaf cutout. We're gonna need 2 leaves in this case because we got 2 flowers. I like to take the impression mold and take 1 leaf. Set it kind of pretty deep on the impression mold. Kind of, well, I wouldn't say deep, I'd say lower on the impression mold. Take your little foam mat. You just kind of push it. Medium pressure. You don't want to kill it. You just want to kind of get the impression into the fondant. So it kind of gives it a more realistic leaf look. And it should just come right off. Oh, there he is. Kind of has a little impression on him. I don't know if you can see it. And that's really all we have to do for the leaves. If you want, you can press it in again. And I like to curl them off and kind of, because it kind of gives them a more realistic look when they're kind of curled like this. Just set them off to the side and wait for them to dry. We're going to take our little white guy and our little pink. These are really hard to open, so just be careful. Sometimes it gets everywhere. And you don't need a lot, just take a little bit. Kind of dab it on the side to get some excess off if you want. And just take it and put it in the center. And then I like to kind of blow it off. gives it like a little faded look. It spread a little bit more than I would have liked it to, so I'm just going to put it on the whole flour. And now we have 2 flours. And just leave them to dry. Take one of our leaves and then just kind of put it all over. If you got a little powdered sugar on them, just go over it with some more luster dust. It's okay. He'll live. And then you should have this really pretty, shimmery little leaf. Alright guys, so our cupcakes have cooled. And now we're gonna put everything all together and start decorating our cupcakes. So I'm just kind of taking a cupcake that kind of got messed up. I made a little extra because I knew I would have to do this. And I'm just going to crumble it up. And this is going to be like our dirt part for the top of our cupcake. It should crumble really nicely. You shouldn't have any problems with it. It should be really moist. It should make nice even crumbs. And then once you kind of have it evenly crumbled, I still have a few little crumbs here that I have to make a little smaller. And it should look kind of like this. And then we're going to take some of our frosting that we made earlier. And we're going to kind of just spread it out. It doesn't really matter how much you put. I don't really like a lot of frosting on my cupcakes. And it doesn't really matter what it looks like. You just want to make sure it's even. And then you're just going to take them and you're going to dip them into the crumbs. And if there's some hanging off kind of on the side, just kind of move it to where it's kind of even all around. And then we're going to set this aside. Get rid of my spatula. See, I can get this off. Take your little flowers. You're going to put them on. Get your little leaves. Take this little leaf. Put it up here on this side. Now you have these cute little cupcakes that look like freshly sprouted flowers. So guys, here's our finished product. A cute little springtime cupcake. I did add some glitter. You don't have to add glitter if you don't want to. But I will be posting the devil's food cake recipe and the chocolate frosting recipe down below. And if you guys have any suggestions on what you would like me to make next, you can leave a comment. I also have a Facebook, Double Trouble Cakes. Go ahead and like that if you want to. Let's take one last look at this cute little guy we created together today. Really cute, super fun, super easy, not a lot of time or effort. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. And again, if you guys have any suggestions for me, go ahead and comment. And thanks guys for watching Cakes by Amanda.